Today's video and possibly some videos here in the immediate future are going to be box opening videos for Flesh and Blood, specifically the Outsiders set. And even though Outsiders has already been released, it came out on Friday and a lot of folks have already opened their product. We know the full set list. There's not a lot to really spoil here. There is, however, a reason to do box opening videos, and that's because they came forward, LSS came forward, and they confirmed the existence of some juiced boxes being in the wild. Now, if you're not familiar with what happened during the early days of the set, some folks were sharing on social media that they had boxes that had large numbers of legends and fables in them. And there was a rumor that there might have been some print errors or mistakes. And then LSS came forward because they're very transparent, and I thank them for that. But they confirmed that for a short period of time, around 30 minutes, there was a problem with the feeding of the different rarity slots. So specifically, the common foil slot was being fed from the rainbow foil slot of Legends and Fables. Now, again, this was only for roughly 30 minutes. It's a very small number of boxes that this occurred for. However, there are quote unquote God boxes in the wild. From what we've gathered from the few people who have shared, this also does come specifically from the Belgium print run, and it just so happens that I have 3 cases from Belgium. So this is box 1 of case number 1, and we're going to open this, and then we're going to continue to open all of my cases up because, let's be honest, I was going to open these to fill my collection / get stuff to play with anyway, but I thought, hey, what a great way to maybe chronicle that journey on the off chance that we do find one of those coveted God boxes. And we're going to be filming this now. I don't know when I'm going to be posting these, whether it'll be like one a day for a bit of time, or if I'm going to consolidate, maybe each case into one video. I don't know what the distribution is going to be, but I do know that I'm filming them all now because I need to do it before I am in a sling for a few weeks because I have torn my bicep. I mentioned it on the broadcast for the Chicago Brawl. So if you tuned into that, you probably already know. I also mentioned it on Twitter. But yes, I recently tore my right bicep. And so we're gonna start opening this box, and then I'll just kind of, I guess, give updates about the health and why I'm recording these now, and kind of like pre-recording them before I maybe have to go under the knife. But we can do 2 things at once, hopefully. Also, I want to apologize up front. I know this is not like a top tier quality box opening setup. You're going to see that auto focus kind of shift in and out. I'm just using a webcam on a tripod top down. In fact, you can kind of see it here. You can see this. This is the webcam coming down. I've got that and my studio mic kind of crisscrossed over here. So in other words, basically this whole setup is chaos, but we're going to do our best. Gonna open this up and start going through some packs. We're actually gonna move this off to the side now that I've got some additional room. But yes, I tore my bicep, had an MRI done earlier this week. The results of the MRI, according to the stuff submitted by the doctor, are high-grade partial tear of the biceps tendon near the attachment on the radial tuberosity. This is referring to essentially like the forearm area, and it covers the motion. So this is my hurt arm, but basically this like palm down to up rotation is governed by this, and that is extremely painful for me to do. And my range of motion is kind of shot. I've got some swelling, and I've got a legitimate deformity in my bicep as well. So there's also more to what they revealed. They said there are few intact fibers, and then it says paratendinous edema and fluid extending along the tendon to the myotendinous junction. So I've got some fluid in there as well. It's mostly comments here in the front. We're actually going to speed through a lot of these. We're not going to do like the 1-by-1 reveal. We'll kind of jump down to the sauce, if you will, because again, this is a set that's now well on everybody's radar, but I do want some suspense here. So we're into the rare slots now. We've got a Hurl as a rare, and a Pendulum Trap as a rare, And then we got one of the famous 3 rare packs right out of the gate with a spinning wheel kick. The foil is a 1-2 punch. So if I come up, we can kind of get the camera to autofocus a bit. It looks pretty solid as a foil. So go ahead and separate these out. We'll do like commons, rares, foils, seekers leggings, and then tokens. So that's pack number 1. But yeah, I tore my bicep and straight up not having a good time. I have not had 100% confirmation that it's going to be surgery, but based on the description, it's like 99% likely that I'll have to have surgery because I want my full range of motion back so I can go back to weightlifting. And they had told me when I asked ahead of time that we were looking at 2 weeks in a sling followed by, 2 to 3 months of full recovery time. So again, we'll go till we hit at least the first rare. So there's a toxicity as rare number 1 in this pack. Now, if you're wondering how I tore it, the answer is actually bowling is benign. So we have a Bonds of Ancestry, and then another 1-2 punch foil, just different, and then tokens. So my youngest son celebrated his 7th birthday recently, and we knew that I was going to be in Chicago for that. So the weekend before, we decided to take him to an arcade, take him to play laser tag, do a bunch of stuff at a place that's like an hour from where we live. It was a lot of fun, and there was also a bowling alley there. And so we thought, hey, let's impromptu anyway. Let's go bowling. Sounds fun. I like to bowl. I bowled in high school. I actually got a varsity jacket for bowling. We won our like local championship my sophomore year. That's called the CACS for like the capital area, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I've been bowling most of my life, so it's not like I don't know what I'm doing. I also am very much a control and technique over just like raw power guy. So I wasn't even like really trying to wing it. It's just that I didn't take my stuff with me because this was an impromptu bowling experience. And so I was using a lane ball. So we have a Bonds of Ancestry rare. This is a foil brush off in blue. Actually looks really good in the foil. And this is one of those 1 rare packs. So we had the 3 rare pack earlier, and then we're down to the 1 rare packs, which is usually my standard result in this set. So anyway, we're using the lane ball. Now, the thing you have to understand about like the balls that you use at a bowling alley, if you don't own one, is that the holes that they drill, the finger holes, are typically pretty large because they want anybody who shows up to be able to use them. And the heavier the ball is, usually the larger the holes, assuming that larger people are using heavier balls, which is fine. Now when I bowl, I typically use like a 15 or 16 pound ball, which is like on the bigger side, but I have small hands. Like I'm not a huge dude. I'm 5'9". My fingers are like relatively slender. So the holes for this heavy ball that I was using at the lane were far too big for me, which means that I had to grip extra tight to keep from dropping this ball. And the problem with that, oh, we got a Red Wreck Havoc. And we have a Seekers leggings, but this is rainbow foil. So not the cold foil of the box, but a rainbow foil. We're quite a few in though and still common, so I'm thinking this is probably not one of those fabled god boxes, unfortunately, but don't worry, we've got plenty of product to open. So anyway, to grip this ball and not drop it means you're putting a fair amount of strain on your arm. And then because I throw a hook, right, there is a lot of rotation involved, and so I think that the combination of like the grip and the torque and the rotation and everything is what caused it to snap. I felt it immediately when it happened. It was not fun. There was like a popping sensation in the upper part of my elbow. And we're just trying to jump down to our first rare, which is going to be a Hurl yet again. And at least I had like the wherewithal to ice it immediately there, so that helped. All right, so we have a Spreading Plague. So that's exciting. This is not foil. I was just trying to pick it up so I can make sure I could see, but still majestic, and one I'm happy to pull as an assassin person. Definitely looking forward to playing it. Our foil is a red Backstab. This actually looks really cool in foil. Trying to get this without the glare because the blood, yeah, there you can kind of see it. Looks really good on the Backstab. And then more tokens. No cold foil yet. But yeah, it hurt. It was straight up not a good time. So we are gonna keep things rolling here. I will say the Chicago Brawl was a lot of fun. We talked about it a bit on the podcast this week. We had Flake on as a guest, so if you haven't checked that out, Flesh and Pod, it's Logan and I, special guest Flake, who was casting the event with me. But yeah, the brawl was fantastic. All right, so we're jumping most of the way down. It was great to see the meta unfold. Makes me look forward to the future stuff. So we have a Pendulum Trap. This should be a foil plunge. Foiling's actually kind of hard to see on this one. And then we have the Silken Gi followed by more tokens. So again, one of those single rare packs. So other things to talk about. I barely made it through the broadcast because I'm getting over being sick. And that made it quite difficult. I was losing my voice. I'm still kind of not 100% back. You can probably tell if you're used to listening to me that I am struggling a wee bit. So again, we're going to try to skip down to a Spike with Inertia is going to be our first rare. Followed by a Fletch a Red Tail into a Spire Sniping. So this was the card that Brody ended up using to seal the victory at the Brawl, though he was using a blue one at the time, but still very exciting ending to that particular event. And then we have a Mask and more tokens. So just kind of chucking along here. Maybe I should move these a bit so we can better see Uzuri's face there. It's the whole reason that I got this mat, because I'm full assassin at this point. I don't necessarily think that it's the most powerful hero or the most broken, but it's definitely my play style and I thoroughly enjoy it. So I am like all in on the assassin train. So expect more of that from me in the future. So here we go as we try to jump down to our first rare. I can see, sadly, that we already have 2 tokens there because I slid it over, but we do have a blue Toxicity. Followed by a red Death Touch. This card is very good, but it's also like the sauce in limited. So sealed, draft, red Death Touch is just such a workhorse. So we have another 3 rare pack this time, followed by a foil Destructive Deliberation, which actually looks really cool foil. It's kind of a shame that this is mostly a limited card because this looks rather nice in foil. And then the Threadbare Tunic, which I suppose is nice for rock, right? You know, if you're somebody who's always looking for excuses to play rock, you're a big Brute fan, you gotta love that. All right, I don't know exactly how many packs in we are, but we're approaching the halfway point and we only have 1 Majestic, which means we likely have some sauce coming soon. All right, so again, we're just gonna kind of cut down here, go one by one till we hit our first rare. So again, another red Death Touch. And then we have a blue Sneak Attack, followed by a blue Fletch, a blue Tail, into a foil Deadly Duo. Deadly Duo actually looks amazing in foil. It's kind of hard to tell from the camera, but the kind of like swish through the air there lights up really nicely. So not unhappy about that. And then Blade Cuff. All right, just realized that I had set my common stack on top of the foils after that last one. Trying to keep things separated so that it makes my sorting later a little bit easier. So if you were somebody who happened to catch part of the brawl or all of the brawl or whatever, first of all, thank you. Really appreciate anybody tuning in to the coverage, but also love to hear what some of your favorite moments were, stuff that you liked about the broadcast, stuff that, you know, you'd like to see in the future that we can improve upon. All right, we got to be getting close to our first rare here. Oh, I was wrong. We're getting close to our first Majestic. So we have hit a Buzzsaw Trap. I still love the art on this. So if you're not familiar, it's just a bunch of buzzsaws and then they're dragging this boat in. So excited to see that pulled. Oh yeah, we're trying to not cover the face. And then we have a Humble and a foil rare in Hurl. And then Seekers and Tokens. All right. We're up to 2 Majestics now. Spreading Plague and Buzzsaw Trap are fine. Again, I'm very excited about the Plague. Buzzsaw, it's a legendary specialization, so you only need the one, but you can cross it off the list once you pull it, so that's kind of nice. Gonna go ahead and just kind of cut down so that we can get going. Sedate, this is a card that I think looks really good when it is in foil. Sadly, that one is not, but we do have a Bleed Out as a rare, followed by a Fletch, a Yellow Tail. Then I believe this is a foil Virulent Touch. Wayfinder's Crest into Tokens. So that one, a little lackluster, just making sure I didn't miss a rare there. I was pretty sure I didn't, but the placements for the rares are a little bit weird in the set because you can go from, you know, 1 rare to 3 rares, and so every now and then I miss one. This set got me paying super close attention to each of the spots, whereas before, you know, you could just kind of like hop straight to the back. And to be honest, when I'm opening, I just hop straight to the back anyway. You can tell that I'm not an experienced box opening person by the way that I am doing this. I think that is pretty apparent, but oh, interesting. All right, we're down to Recoil here. This is a rare. Then we have Spike with Blood Rot. Then we have Seeker's Mitts, but again, this is a rainbow foil Seeker's Mitts, so we keep finding rainbow foil equipment. And then Fisticuffs into Tokens. And I'm pretty sure we're at the halfway point now. So we're going to move it along ever so slightly. Kind of do a quick cut down, make sure we didn't miss any rares there so that we can get to the good stuff. So we have a red Bonds of Ancestry, still one of the cards I really enjoy for Ninja in this set, followed by a foil Malign, which looks rather nice in foil. And then we have Fisticuffs and 2 tokens. So I believe this was just a single rare pack. Does appear to be the case. Relatively good mix of like single rares versus 3 rares. I will say that the single rare pack thing frustrates me a little bit just from like a limited standpoint, because when I went to my one pre-release that I attended, for example, the first 3 packs I opened only had 1 rare. And it's not like the rares are a massive deal in this, but it does make you feel like you're at a disadvantage, right? Especially in sealed. I think it evens out a little bit once you get to draft, because if you open a 3 rare pack, well, then you're just passing them along. And so theoretically that stuff should even out a little bit more, but it still creates that feels bad experience. And so here we have a rare followed by a foil blue cut down to size. And then Fleetfoot sandals. So again, a 1 rare pack. So still no cold foil. I know that you can actually open boxes with no cold foils, and I know this because we did it at the Brawl. We kind of called that shot because we were like, hey, let's do a giveaway, and then we'll have it be like, guess the cold foil. And then I said to Flake specifically, I said, you know, with the 2 of us here, there will be no cold foil. And I called that shot. So it's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. So we're just going to, again, jump down here to the first rare, which is a Tar Pit Trap, followed by a Recoil. And then, hey, yo, this is kind of nice. So we get a foil Spike Pit Trap. So this is 2 of the Riptide legendary specializations, but this one being foil is very nice. And then no cold foil, just tokens afterwards, but we hit a foil Majestic. Not bad, not bad. Again, we're about halfway through, or just a little past it now, so I think we are about to hit some more sauce, because we've had no cold foil and only 3 Majestics. And there's usually like, I want to say 6 to 7 Majestics per box, if I remember right. So, all right, so we're up to a Bleed Out. And there's another Majestic. See, I knew we were coming. So we have an Amnesia. This is, I think, a really cool sideboard card. Great generic. Blocks for 3. Has that magic 6 attack power. Relevant on hit. And then we have a Backstab followed by a foil Toxicity. And I want you to understand that this looks really good in foil. Like this camera... I'm apologizing because this does not do it justice, but I'm telling you, this looks like really good in person. But foil Toxicity, which we're excited about. And then I see what I think might be our cold foil peaking here, because we have this Toxic Tips, but we have something behind it. And of course, we have the big money cold foil pull here, which is the Seeker's Hood. Can't go wrong with the cold foil Seeker's Hood, he says, as he tries to hide his disappointment. So definitely not a God box. Not only have we not been hitting a lot of the rainbow foils, but also just flat out pretty bad cold foil. We're going to leave user visible. So we're going to still open up the rest, though. Potential chances to salvage this. I mean, honestly, at this point, with the way the prices are going, if you just open like a Codex of Frailty, it's a salvaged box. It's kind of wild to me how expensive and how much that card shot up after just one event. So yeah, Seeker's Hood is the cold foil there. It is also worth noting, as far as like the God box things go, it was just a feeding issue with the rainbow foils. So there is no like extra cold foils in the wild, right? So if you're worried about stuff like that, Infectious Host is a rare, and then we get a red Infect foil. Seeker's Hood, just to continue to mock me. So the 1 rare pack. And we're almost to the end of this box, and then that'll probably be it for this first video, mostly because I want to take a short break, but we're gonna open all of these on camera, and I don't know, maybe it won't be for the first video. Like I said, maybe I'll just open and film one box at a time, but maybe I'll put it all together by case. I don't know. I guess you'll find out. If this video ends after one box, then then I guess this is the end of it. But I suspect that I'm gonna do it box by box, just because I think that it's a really big ask to ask people to sit through 4 boxes in a single video. Like, I know you can pause it, I know you can come back, but like, as I just try to think about like consuming content and your time and etc. I just feel like that's a really big ask. So we have another Infectious Host, followed by a foil Falcon Wing, which also looks really good in foil. Again, this camera sadly just does not do it justice. But then we go to Tunic and tokens. So yeah, so far still hoping to hit something slightly better here. If Flake is watching, he's probably enjoying this, because he also has some relatively bad luck opening boxes, and this feels like a very charmer box, right? Oh, see, I almost defaulted right to my normal, like, I'm just gonna open stuff up. I'm not used to doing these on camera, as you can tell. So we've got a Sneak Attack for the rare here, followed by another red Wreck Havoc, which I'm excited to see. And then we have the Deadly Duo foil, which again I think looks really good in foil, followed by the Seekers and more tokens. I'm excited about the Wreck Havoc pickups, just because I'm playing it quite a bit in Uzuri. I think that the text where you can't add defense reactions to the chain link is really important, and even more so when you're trying to get very impactful effects in, like a Wreck Havoc, like a Command and Conquer. It's also why I think Backstab is so kind of clutch. Like, obviously with Isolate you get the Dominate effect, but then when you swap something in, they can add defense reactions to it unless you've got that text on a Wreck Havoc or so forth. But also starting with the Backstab means that you can like force through a CNC. So we have a Gore Belching Majestic Open. So this is a card that also I think works pretty well with Uzuri because of the 7 attack, but I'm really holding out to see if this does anything with the new version of Chain that we're going to get in the next set because of the banish portion. So I suspect that is going to be the case. And then we have a Backstab as a rare, followed by a foil. This one's very hard to see the foiling, but you can kind of see that shimmer there, but it is foil. So foil rare, foil Infectious Host, and then sandals and tokens. But yeah, I think that the defense reaction text is really important when it comes to playing Uzuri. All right, so we are down to 4 packs left for this box. So let's cross our fingers for something that salvages us here, because we're only at 5 Majestics and a pretty mediocre. All right, let's be honest. It's not even mediocre. That's like a very below rate cold foil pull. So we're hoping for a Codex, something like that. Here we have a Death Touch. This is just a regular plunge, but another rare here, and then a foil Razor's Edge. This actually also looks pretty good in foil in person. I know the camera's not doing it well, but that looks solid. Then we have the Silken Gi and 2 more tokens. So no box salvation there. I have faith. I do. Maybe not for this box, but for this case. If this is box number 1 and it's just all bad like this, then I'm just going to double down that the rest is going to be solid. So we're just kind of jumping ahead here. so that we can get to our first rare, which is another red Death Touch. Again, the absolute sauce when you're playing limited in this set. Just a regular plunge, but we do get a red Backstab, followed by a foil Malign Yellow. Shifting and tokens, so 2 packs left. And it would be a really big shame if we only had 5 Majestics and our cold foil was the Seeker's Hood. Now again, the Spike Pit Trap is at least a foil Majestic, right? So that's solid, but the number of times I've got like, you know, 2 or 3 foil Majestics out of a box and still end up with like 7 Majestics is pretty high. So another red Death Touch, so we're up to a play set of those out of just this box, along with a Spike with Frailty and then a blue Wreak Havoc. So at least it's 3 rares, I guess. Foil Descendant Gust Wave, Toxic Tips, and tokens. So 1 pack left to try to get above the 5 Majestic mark. This is the most anti-Andy box I think I've ever opened. So if you're not familiar, Andy is a Flesh and Blood player in the community who, at least within my circle of folks that I talk to about Flesh and Blood often, he's just known for having the most juiced box openings ever, like all the time. He's just like, Captain, I pull Fables, I pull whatever. This is like the polar opposite of that. So here we go. We've got a Lace with Frailty, along with Fletcher Redtail. So this is actually a really good pack if you're a Ranger fan. Foil Spring Load, which actually looks pretty good in foil, I'm not gonna lie. Kind of actually, the art when this is in foil actually reminds me of like a Disney art. This could be a Lorcana card. And then we have a Seeker's Leggings and 2 tokens. So that was it. We started this video in hopes that we would be on the hunt for a God box, and instead we got the polar opposite. This is, and I wish that this was hyperbole, but this might be one of, if not the worst box I've ever opened for Flesh and Blood. So naturally, that's what happens when I turn on the camera. Cold foil Seeker's Hood, only 5 Majestics, 1 being foil. That's the Spike Pit Trap. And yeah, I think we're gonna end this video here, mostly so that I can get up and stretch my legs and kind of recover from how bad this box was. And then we'll do another video for more of the openings. Like I said, I've got 3 cases to go through and hunt for this God box, and I don't suspect that I'm going to hit one. Historically, I've not been that lucky, but I'm going to have a lot of fun along the way, and I will see you in those videos. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and until next time.